Hello once again everyone, Original Blood Ace back again here. Now, before I actually get into the topic here, the actual article, I wanted to say a little bit of backstory here because this happened over Christmas Day, I believe it was, and I don't know if you've heard of this, so that's why I'm going to explain it. Anyway, Christmas Day, apparently, Xbox and PlayStation, both Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and the Vita were all, in quotations, hacked. And basically their online servers were shut down. So basically, the people who took credit for this was, of course, a group called Lizard Squad. Now, there was a group before in the past called Anonymous, which I don't really need to talk about them too much because they're not much of a point in this story, but either way, there seems to be a lot of these groups these days. So anyway, this group of, supposedly you could call them hackers, some people say, oh, but it's not hacking, it's DDoSing. Which is true, but in one of the interviews with one of the Lizard Squad members, he says, you need to be able to hack to get access to the stuff that lets you DDoS anyway, so you may as well just say hacked. So anyway, these guys on Christmas Day had hacked, well, DDoS'd Microsoft and Sony systems, and made it so that it was unable to play. Now, if you are a person who only has, like, the Wii U, then you were fine, you wouldn't even notice it, or even if you're just a PC gamer, you wouldn't have noticed this, it wouldn't have affected you. And the funny thing is, it's funny how they didn't even target Nintendo, but it's probably, everyone kind of has their own different thought on why. Maybe it's because, you know, oh, Nintendo is so anti-online anyway. That could be, but for me personally, I think it's because Nintendo's security is a bit more difficult. It's a bit more improved than Sony's and Microsoft's, because Sony's, what do you call it, security is kind of like Swiss cheese. It's full of holes, and it's been for a long time. This is, what, the third year that Sony's security has been hacked? And I mean, back in 2012, was it, or 11, somewhere around there, when they were hacked before, and Sony said, oh, we'll fix our, our security, and they never did. And back then, they were using 7-year-old technology, so it still seems that they are taking people's money, that they're making, and not putting it into making better security, even though they said they would. Now, Microsoft, on the other side, their security is a bit better, but it's still not untouchable, basically. So let's get into this, shall we, finally, I think. And there's a picture of one of the guys who claims to be part of Lizard Squad. It's not a great quality picture. It's from some interview on the news or whatever, and he was from some random place. Was it Finland or something like that? I can't remember. But anyway, he basically gives some answers. A hacker who claims... Oh, and I should say, before I get into this, actually, what's funny is that people didn't know for sure, like, if you could really take Lizard Squad's word for it when they took credit for all these things happening. But literally a month before Christmas, they said that Sony and Microsoft would go down on Christmas Day. And then it happened. So Microsoft, maybe you should actually, take their word for it. But anyway, a hacker who claims to be behind the Christmas Day cyber attack on computer games consoles has told Sky News he wanted to expose poor security. So that's the reason these hacks are happening these days. Not to steal people's information, but literally to just expose that Sony and Microsoft have horrible security, and that basically anyone with even a little bit of hacking knowledge could get past it. And they have the idea that basically, it's like, oh, if you actually hired competent people and people who knew what they were doing to work on your security, you wouldn't have these types of problems. They're like, even if you had someone, one of us employed, then nothing like this would ever happen. So basically, they're just exposing Microsoft and Sony's security. But anyway, the man, known as Ryan, said a group of 2 or 3 people masterminded the attack and had no regrets about forcing a couple of kids to spend time with their families instead of playing games. That was an exact quote he said. The guy had asked him, don't you feel bad about people not being able to play their games on Christmas? And there was a quote somewhere else where he had said something like, if I had felt bad, I would have apologized by now, but I don't. And I gotta say right off the bat, so many people are bitching and upset with Lizard Squad. I love these guys. I really do. I get a good chuckle out of them, I find this hilarious. And And I mean, maybe it's their arrogance. Maybe it's because I'm an arrogant person myself, and that's why I like them. I don't know. But either way, I love their attitude. And exactly, it's as he says. Oh, a couple of kids had to spend time with their families instead of playing video games. Exactly. If you're not going to have the end of the world if you can't play online on a game for a day or two. Really? Quit being selfish. People say these guys are being selfish, but you know, with their they're living in a basement and hacking away and not spending their time. Who's the one being selfish? They're the ones trying to expose giant companies as having pathetic security to make to make their security better. And so what if kids can't play online for a game on 1 or 2 days, or for 1 or 2 days? Big fucking whoop. It's Christmas. You should be spending time with your families anyway. Not to mention, you could play single-player games. Is that such a big issue? Back in the days of, NES all the way up to GameCube, this never would have happened. But, either way, let's move along here. Ryan, thought to be a member of Lizard Squad, admitted that he and his team of hackers considered the attack a sort of game, and partially did it for their own amusement. So again, they're kind of saying they did it just because they could, because they were bored, because they wanted to. In an interview from Finland, yep, that's where it was, over Skype with Sky's Joe Tidy, I can't even speak, Ryan said the hacking team was small and included members who were under the age of 20. Yeah, I think they said there was one person there who was like 13 or whatever, and it's just like a 13-year-old hacker, like, geez, when I was 13, all we could really do on computers was play Minesweeper, Neopets, RuneScape, pinball, and that type of stuff. We could barely use Microsoft Word, alright? So, man, times have changed. But anyway, we have massive capability to take down networks like this, he said. As for whoever this guy is in the picture, I don't know if that's another Lizard Squad member or whatever. Now there's this whole war thing going on, apparently, between Anonymous and Lizard Squad, where Anonymous is like, oh, don't worry, we'll take them down. We hacked you guys before, but there can only be one hacker. We're here. They're phonies. We're real hackers. We'll take care of Lizard Squad. We'll take them down. But honestly, my money's on Lizard Squad, because, I don't know, I like their arrogance. I like that they say that they're going to do something, and then they actually do it, because Anonymous, who's just all talk, never does a damn thing, never does anything to back it up. But, and I like the name Lizard Squad better than Anonymous. Anyway, this attack was basically done by 3 people. We had a couple of people from outside the group helping with the attacks, helping us a little bit, but most of the traffic was coming from 1 or 2 people. Asked why the team carried out the attack, he said mostly to raise awareness, to amuse ourselves. So again, it was two main reasons. One was to raise awareness that Microsoft and Sony are greedy companies with horrible security, and to pass the time and amuse themselves, which I have no problem with. Even if they had attacked Nintendo, I would have been like, oh well, I can still play, any game of mine offline, doesn't really matter. Also, one of the big aspects here was raising awareness regarding the low state of computer security at these companies. Because these companies make tens of millions every month from subscriber fees, meaning Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus, and that doesn't even include purchases made by their customers. They should have more than enough funding to be able to protect against these attacks. So basically, they're saying that Microsoft is getting away with charging people for these services that are supposedly the top of the line, yet they're not actually using any of this basically infinite money, well, at least infinite for Microsoft anyway, not so much Sony, to make their security better. So it just goes to show that they don't care about protecting their consumers, which we've all known Microsoft doesn't give a fuck about their consumers. They care about the money and nothing else. Sony claims to care, but then they never actually do anything to prove that they care. So, I mean, that's, a kind of a benefit for Nintendo, I guess, that a bonus that they have, that they actually, Reggie himself had said before, that Nintendo security is updated every single month, like it changes and it upgrades, and so even by the time you figure out how to hack Nintendo security, it's already at the point where it's going to change again, so it's constantly evolving, because Nintendo actually cares about their protection of their consumers' identities, and, all that information and all that jazz. But again, it makes perfect sense, in my opinion, from these guys that, like, they have tens of millions of dollars and they don't spend any of it on their security. So, but as the saying goes, it's like, how does the rich stay rich? It's because the rich never spend any money or whatever. Anyway, he goes on to say, and if they can't protect against the attacks on their core business networks, then I don't think they're really doing that much on their overall level of security. And these customers are still giving these companies their credit card numbers and such. Well, not me, because I don't give my credit card out to anyone. I've very, very, very rarely ever used my credit card. Ryan continued, "It's sort of a game for us, I have to admit. I completely understand that it's a bit unethical." Yes, I would say so. I'd be rather worried if those people didn't have anything better to do than play games on their consoles on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Which is, I mean, that's kind of a fair point. If you are a person who's like, a kid, well, I can't play Call of Duty on my Xbox One on Christmas. It's Christmas. Go open your presents that aren't computer games or video games. Go have Christmas dinner. Go chat with your family. Go play some board games. Back in my days when we were a kid, man, it makes me feel old saying that, we played board games. Have you ever heard of those? Monopoly? All that? Can't hack at that. Then he says, I mean, I can't really be something. Feel bad. I might have forced a couple of kids to spend their time with their families instead of playing games, which is, the horror. The Xbox Live status page said on Saturday that Microsoft servers had been restored while PlayStation said it was getting to grips with the issue. So basically, Microsoft fixed this within about 24 hours, and Sony took 3 days or something like that to fix, something around there. But reassurance that the networks were returning to normal were met with a mixed response on social media. Some gaming fan named Shao Shallow tweeted, "Finally, my PlayStation is working. You lot robbed my Christmas." And if your Christmas, which is a holiday, is spent doing what you do every other fucking day, then you're missing Christmas. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, if you want to play for an hour or so, whatever, on Christmas, whatever. But go be with your family. Unless you're an idiot and you don't have a family, in which case, then, oh no, poor you, poor you. You can't play Destiny, which is broken anyway, and all that other crap. But another issue, Ste Abner, I don't know who that is, woke up in a good mood, but I still can't get on Xbox, so I am not in a good mood. Well, hello, you bought an Xbox One, so you shouldn't be in a good mood for the rest of your life. The attack on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live services meant downloaded games could not be played and gamers could not compete against others around the world. Again, go play single-player games. Oh, wait. That's what all the people on PlayStation and Xbox want, is realistic shooters with multiplayer. But, oh well. Oh well, that's all I have to say, I guess, on this story. So, I'll wrap this up by saying, Lizard Squad, what does their fate hold? Who knows, but honestly, I don't think this is the last we've heard of them. I'm sure that they'll do some more hacking in 2015, and if Microsoft and Sony don't want to ever fix their security, which is ironically the best way to get rid of being hacked and stop these hacks and prevent them and stop Lizard Squad, is to actually make your security better. But who knows? And it's hilarious to me that the supposed better online services, PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live, how everyone's like, oh, Nintendo's online's crap and Xbox and PlayStation's is better. Which ones have been hacked this year multiple times and shut down from hackers who are even 13 years old? That's right, Microsoft and Sony's. And you're paying, including myself, because I paid for a PlayStation Plus card for a year or whatever. But we are paying for online when the onlines on PC and Nintendo are free and not getting taken down and are not being attacked. Like, wake up, you stupid human race. You stupid gamers out there who just don't think things through. But whatever. There's always going to be these groups of hackers who want to give us a peek behind the curtain to expose those. These guys are kind of like, I always call out any bullshit from any company. These guys are kind of similar to me in the sense, although they take it way further than I ever would. But yeah. Either way, I'm glad that Lizard Squad did what they did. I don't have a problem with it. I couldn't play Destiny for a day. Oh, no. I could still play Smash Bros. I could play Mario Kart 8. I could play Captain Toad. Don't matter to me. So, anyway, I'm Original Bloodice, as always. You know the drill. Stay tuned! More videos coming soon, as always. We'll see you later. Probably the next video I do will be probably Smash Bros. Episode on OBA Games. So we'll see you then.